So, a beloved public death kind of reopened some old grief for me, and I'm also going through a new grief thing that I can talk about now. And I don't know, it's a lot. Thanks for coming along. We're gonna try and talk for 30 minutes about my grief and what's been going down. I'm gonna talk about Dolly Parton, and I'm gonna talk about my Aunt Rita, and I'm gonna talk about Old Fork and how it's closing. And maybe at the end, we'll tie it all together in a beautiful butterfly moment. That's where I'm hoping we're going. Um, the truth is, I've been trying for a while to record a 30-minute video of just talking about something that matters to me. I've really been struggling. Yesterday, I tried 2 or 3 times to set up in the kitchen and can't figure out how to both get my hands and the work in the shot and my face in the shot. I don't know how not to just be a headless body. And I gave up. I tried a couple times to shoot an F1 video that I'm excited to do to nerd out about F1 and why I care and um, how you can get excited about it if you want. And I stumbled. Um, And I've been prioritizing other people's needs, really supporting other folks with other things. Yesterday was the first day of the school year here where we live. And so it was first day of first grade for my daughter. And I guess I was holding everything together for that because I woke up this morning. I was just like, blah, couldn't stop crying. And by woke up this morning, I mean I woke up at 4 a.m., which is very unusual for me. I woke up at 2 and then at 4 again. Um, and I didn't have anything particular on my mind, just some general physical anxiety. Hi, physical anxiety hanging out. Um, and so I thought, okay, let me go record that cooking video in the kitchen. And I'm just gonna only do my head, and if they can't see my hand, whatever, I'll just bring it up and show them because it's more important about me talking. So my face. That's how I'll prioritize it and stop getting in my own way. Come downstairs, turn on the lights, start getting ready to do it, and realize, nope, my brother is chilling on the couch. He was asleep. I woke him up on accident. And yeah, that's not really conducive to recording long videos that you don't want to edit very much. So I was still kind of trying to do it, and then my daughter came down because I wasn't in the bed when she woke up, and so, she skittered down, and, um, I decided to cuddle her instead, hoping I could get her back to sleep, but that did not. That was a silly wish. No way she was going back to sleep. So we cuddle for a little bit, and I get her situated playing a game or something, and decide I'm not going to do a video, but I'm gonna frickin' bake, and I'm gonna bake this um, bread that's called Dollywood Cinnamon Bread that I've baked before. That remind like its origin is from Dollywood, the theme park, and I just thought that that would be a nice therapeutic thing to do. And I wasn't able to record it, but I would take like little snippets and stuff, and I've been posting it on my stories, which felt good to be sharing. Um, and like I think reaching out for community in a way in this grief bomb that I'm experiencing. So I think let's start with Dolly, I guess. Sorry if I keep fixing you when you wobble. Um, I think that from a very early age, Dolly Parton was an example of a successful and ambitious woman who kind of existed as her own entity. I think I was drawn to a lot of women like that. Rosie O'Donnell was one. Yeah, I'm blanking right now because, grief brain. But she was so sure of herself, Dolly, in such a good way. And my family would play her music, my babysitters would play her music. Uh, the feminism there that uh, that was kind of baked into what she did was so cool before I even really knew and understood what it was. And we just keep adding layers to why she's important and why she makes sense and how cool she is, right? Um, how many books has she given away with the Imagination Library? And I think I saw that they announced that they'll continue after her passing. I don't know for how long, but that's a cool thing. Um, and then, when I'm in the scary places of thinking that because I'm immunocompromised, I'm not going to make it through this pandemic where, you breathe wrong and you get sick. And um, she wasn't out arguing with anybody or doing anything. She just helped fund a vaccine. And I can't, what would we have done without that? Who would have filled that gap? I can't imagine and feel so grateful. And then the other layer that I think I've been pondering lately is this ethical big money situation. If I do have ambition to make a lot of money, um, I know I don't, my ambition to make a lot of money is not about making a lot of money for me. I do want to make a lot of money to make my life easier. And then I want to help other people. And I look to Taylor Swift and the way that she toured and the way that she dispensed some of the earnings of that tour. The just super cool, right? Very interesting way to handle your money. We don't have a lot of examples or very public, loud examples, at least, of like that. And I think Dolly was um, a good example of someone who wanted fame, wanted fortune, but also wanted to be very clearly giving back to the people, right? Um, and it was a selfless kind of thing, growing up from in a big family on a farm and then ending up being able to support so much of her extended family and then everyone becoming her family through Imagination Library and the Moderna vaccine, everything from that, right? So this is why I think when we talk about can there be ethical millionaires, can there be ethical billionaires? I don't know. I don't think billionaires should exist. I don't think you should hold on to money to the point that you have $1 billion. So, you know, I don't know. It's a funny little layer of all of this that's been very interesting for me. Um, yeah. And I had this very weird beginning of my like musical awareness where it's like country and R&B laid on top of each other. So I love Dolly. It was Dixie Chicks, now the Chicks, Prime Time, and it was also very much peak Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey and Boys to Men were my first two first CDs. Boys to Men self-titled and Mariah Carey Butterfly. Um, Butterfly, synchronicity. Anyway, um, she's really cool. about her music, and I had this really weird overlap between them where um, I had a lot of like um, Billy Ray Cyrus, Achy Breaky Heart in my awareness and all of that. And um, I lost connection to that for a very long time. Dolly being really one of my only threads back. Um, Brandy Carlisle being another. Yeah. Um, well, from a different direction, you know. Reading Brandy Carlisle's stuff about Dolly today made me cry. I really don't know where this video is or is going. I hope you don't mind. Um, let's regroup. We've talked a lot about Dolly and why she's cool and how she's shown up in my life. Um, I think this public death, this public mourning of somebody so revered who is from the country and um, loved the Smoky Mountains, all of that. She really reminds me of my Aunt Rita in that way. They were very different in their sense of fashion and their hairstyles and things like that. But in the in the way that they express their feminism, I feel like they were very similar. And in the values that they instilled in me in their own ways are very very similar. And she was my third parent and uh, kind of helped me through a lot of stuff in ways that I didn't realize until after she was gone and I had some perspective. She passed away in April, and I um I think I band together to kind of take care of the situation and help plan the funeral and do the eulogy and all of those things. Um and I let myself be sad in the middle there, but you know, it's not the same as being a full-blown mourner. And uh, I really, really miss her. And I think that there was a lot of that trapped up in what happened here with Dolly and it being Nashville and Gallenberg and Dollywood and those Smoky Mountains and Tennessee and all of that stuff is just so tied to my relationship with my aunt, who we went on lots of beautiful camping trips with and things like that. And when we weave in a third layer of this summertime sadness, end of summer sadness that I'm going through, this was in case I started crying, which maybe still will happen. I don't know. It'll be public now that Old Fork, the bookstore I work at, is closing as well. Uh, After just about 6 years open, 2 years of me being there. It's a culinary bookstore specialized in food and beverage books, and we did events and book clubs and all sorts of things like that, and really created a community around food. Um, Used food as the um, connector to build beautiful relationships and talk about a lot of really cool things, um, learn a lot of really cool things and meet a lot of really cool people. And because of everything, um, the bookstore's going to close. And so starting in October, things will be different for me and we'll have to figure out what that looks like. Um, yeah. And so I think that my part-time job going away, my bookstore community going away, all of that tied with losing my aunt earlier in the year and this like weird public warning. I mean, famous people have died since then, since April. Um, People who I probably would have talked to her about. Um, but this one's, like, somehow very deeply connected. Um, yeah, it's a lot to be going through all at once. And because I'm only at 15 minutes, I really don't think we're gonna get to 20 minutes. To 30 minutes, that's where we're headed. But I do really wanna post this video, so I'm gonna figure out how to wrap it up here. Um, I guess thanks for verbal processing, listening to me verbal process this in this moment. Um, Part of why the bookstore also feels connected to Rita is because of how much she inspired me to cook, and many of our memories together are food related or um, hospitality and hosting related. And I know that she really invested in me and my kitchen. I have a lot of knickknacks, but also um, passed down um, dishes and recipes and things because of her. Um, and and so cooking in general is tied. And then I um, I think the bookstore is also tied to, the trip back when I was able to see her for the last time in hospice and she passed, and then I came back and um, spent a Saturday at the shop with everybody, and it's just kind of all mixed in together in that early grief muddle, and um, yeah, it's just all together in a pile. I think the place I wanted to take this was around Dolly really being a matriarch, even though she never had children. And I feel that way about my Aunt Rita too. She couldn't have kids, and she doted on all of her nieces and nephews, particularly me and my brother. And that kind of parallel, um, driving home from after my aunt passed, uh, some of my processing was around like, am I taking on the matriarch role now? Like, is that where I belong in our family? Is that the space that I should take up, and what will that look like? Um, and Dolly was very much the matriarch in her family, and in many, many people's lives, and in many businesses and endeavors that Dolly took on. And and butterflies were her kind of thing. And so I kind of think, you know, blooming into a butterfly, into a matriarch from, you know, the adolescence of yeah, whatever. Blah, Um, yeah, think I had one more thing that just went right out my brain.